Hi everybody, welcome back to the Claremont Classic Garage. Today we're going to start a new Odd Jobs video. Spring has finally sprung in Claremont. So we got to start getting our spring stuff done. And we're going to start with getting the old green heap here up and running. So it's been parked since, the fall. I guess around Thanksgiving was the last time we drove it. So I'm going to see if I can get it cranked up now. First step, we're going to pull off the air cleaner. I'm going to make sure there's oil and coolant in it. Then we'll prime the carburetors with gas and wind it over and see what happens. If it winds over. Brought the old Eliminator booster pack over just in case. So this is pretty simple. We just squirt some gas down the vent pipe of the center carburetor. That'll give it a fighting chance. Squirt some down the end ones. And now we'll crank it up. Well, you can see there, the dome light comes on. So that's a good sign, I guess. Okay, let's put this right there for now. And we'll see what happens. Just because it's got enough voltage to turn on a light doesn't mean it's got enough voltage to start. Or maybe it does. Well, takes it a minute. It takes a lot of gas to fill up those three carburetors, There we go. Come on. Cranky old thing, eh? If I can get it to stay running, we can get out and check. I remember last spring when I started it up, the float in the rear carburetor was stuck a little bit, and it was flooding over into the booster. But we'll just give it a second here. It seems like it's running okay. My gauges all look normal here. Just got oil pressure. There we are, she's idling. Now we'll get the cover the rest of the way off. And I'll roll it over to the garage and we'll just give it a fast check over. Another job I've got to do is get this old truck running. Old truck. It's my beautiful truck. But sitting out here all winter, the batteries got kind of run down. And she just don't quite want to crank over. So we got the charger on it. We'll let it sit for a couple hours and try it again. The sweet, sweet sounds of spring. Let's get her over to the garage. Sunshine! What a nice day it is. Spring has been taking its sweet time getting to us this year. And it's still kind of cool out. But this beautiful sunshine makes it a lot better. So we'll just get this thing over here and make sure all the lights work and check the tire pressures and stuff like that. And it'll be good to go. Not like we put 1 billion miles on it. There we go. All right. Springtime. Oh, looks like she's ready to roll. Went around, checked tire pressures, put a torque wrench on the lug nuts, checked all the lights, wipers, horn, all that stuff. I got it running now. I did see at first a little gas on the top of this carburetor, but it's all gone now. There's nothing leaking. It's all good. I checked the belts and hoses and stuff too. So the old green machine is ready for summer. Alrighty, there's another one back to life. I'll let it run for a minute, then I'll shut it off, let it sit overnight, and I'll try to start it again tomorrow. That'll be a good test if the batteries are okay or not. If it won't start again tomorrow, then I guess it looks like the batteries are shot. Here's our next little job. We had a bit of a disaster in the shop. Well, something came flying out of the press and nailed the water reservoir on our little steamer. And as you can see, it smashed it all to pieces. So I think I've managed to find most of the bits of it. They're in there. And we're going to see if we could try and stitch this together. We've got some Gorilla Glue here and some single-use super glues. So we're going to start goofing around with this thing and see if we can get it back together. I don't care if it even leaks a little bit, so long as we can use the thing. So far, we've got a few pieces stitched back in here. I checked online. The company that made this thing is still around. Unfortunately, this one is so old, can't get this part anymore. Although they used to sell it for $5.20, if you can believe it. Unreal, just my luck. It is a little tricky, kind of lacing these parts in because of the way they're shattered. Some overlap this way, some overlap that way, and you got to kind of, fish the parts in. But we're just patient, do it one piece at a time, and we'll get it. And maybe when I'm done, once I've got it together, we'll make a piece that just completely goes right over the whole thing to just make it, strong. Or something like that anyway. We're gaining on it. The bigger pieces are easy to find a home for. The smaller ones, not so much. I think this guy goes in here. But you can see there's like a little sliver missing up the side of it that we have to find. And I'm not even certain that I got, everything. There may be still some pieces floating around in the garage. Well, it's coming together. I've got this great big piece that fits in here. And we've just about got this whole side closed up. I'm not really sure if I've got enough pieces to finish the job here, but we'll keep working at it. Not bad. We've got down to just this little spot here we're trying to fill in. And I don't think I'm going to find the little bits that go in there, but you never know. This, you can tell by the rings here, this is where the actual impact was. And this stuff would have gone flying the furthest, and that's why there's a few bits of it missing. So what I've done is I've got this piece of acetate, or whatever it is, that was the package that the Gorilla Glue came in, and we're just going to glue that over there as a patch. And I've also, you can see I've been just going along all these seams with a bead of glue. Hopefully that'll get this thing sealed up. Like I said, even if it drips a tiny bit, I'm not that concerned. I'm just going to, keep a little bit of water in it so it can do its thing. Well, it's sat overnight. I'm going to flip it over, fill it up with water, and we'll see what happens. I saw a couple of leaks, small leaks. So we'll let this thing dry. And then we'll fix it up. There's one right down around there. There's actually, right in there, you can actually see, and there's a tiny little void. And in the middle here, where you remember there was a kind of a hole left over at the end, and we just glued a piece of clear plastic over it. There is still, it's seeping around that. So I have to wick a little more glue in behind there. And this little seam here was leaking a bit. But we'll just keep picking away at it, and eventually we'll get her. Well, there we are, all fixed up. It doesn't leak. I probably would never put any more water than that in it. So that's good. We can put her back in service. Might be a little ugly, but it's got a lot of character now. Next little job we're going to do is get this thing ready for the mowing season. It's not really due for service yet, but It's kind of halfway through its service cycle. So I'm going to dump the oil and put new oil in it. I'm not going to change the filter. That'll come at its actual scheduled service. That's no big deal. It'll be fine. And we'll check it over, grease it up, give the blades a sharp, and make sure she's ready to go. The crankcase drain is back here at the back. It's just like a flexible hose with a plug in the end of it. So we'll pull the plug out, get her drained. Got her all greased up. That's good. This thing's got a lot of grease fittings on it. There's a lot of moving parts on one of these little things. And they do make it very serviceable. So you got to... it takes a little bit of time to find them all and a lot of bending and contorting. But we got them. The oil is back in and I got the level up. I started it up, let it cycle through, shut it off, rechecked it, level's good. And I've also gone around, you got to make sure, this is your oil cooler. You've got to keep that blown out because crud gets down in behind it and plugs it up. You need air to be able to flow across it. Same thing with the screen. That's what pulls the air down over the cylinders. You've got to keep that clear. I took the air cleaner apart. It's got a double element, so I just give the primary or the outer element a little blow. We've covered that before. Then you make sure the fans for the hydro pumps, you got to make sure there's nothing in them because they'll get leaves and stuff all caked on the top of them. That's bad. So I guess all it's left to do, well, is have lunch. Very important. It's lunchtime. I've just been informed. When I come back out, we'll lift it up and we'll get the blades off and sharpen them up. I've got the blades in the vise. It might not be so easy to see here, but these things are pretty much destroyed. Once they get rounded off on the ends here like that, they're not really any good anymore. I haven't got another set right now. I'm going up to town tomorrow. I can get a set, but for now, I got to cut my grass. So we'll just get the old flap wheel on a 4.5-inch grinder and clean them up as best we can. Put a bit of an edge on them, and they'll hang in there till we get new ones. Oh, got that all done. Another thing I forgot to show you is I had to fix my little my anti-scalp wheels on that side because the bracket had gotten a little bent and they were they wouldn't turn. But that's all fixed up now. So all we got to do is put her down and we'll take it outside and see how she mows. All right, people, let's mow. Well, that's good. She mows like a champ. Now I guess I got to get the little John Deere over here and give it a little going over. Now we're going to give the Deere a going over. First thing, I'll get underneath it and check the blades. I'm guessing they'll need to come off and get sharpened. And then we'll work on the top side of it. I reached underneath and felt a couple of the blades. And they've all got they've got a decent edge on them still. So I'm not going to worry about pulling them off and sharpening them. This thing spends most of its time in the ditch. I mow the ditch with it, and it eats sticks and rocks and sand and dirt. So the blades take a beating, and for them to be still in decent shape, that's good enough. So what we're going to do now is just check things over under the hood. Check the oil, see what it looks like, see if it passes the sniff test. If it doesn't, we'll change it. I'll make sure the air filter is clean. It's in here. I'll show you when we get in there. Then I'll just check it, make sure all the lights work and stuff, and it should be good to go. The air filter's just underneath this cover here. I'll have a look at it. Yeah, it's pretty decent. I'll give it a little blow with some compressed air, and the pre-filter here, we'll make sure that's cleaned out. Yeah, look at the junk that gets in there. This thing saves the actual air filter. There's a lot of crap in there. We'll get this all cleaned out and put her back together. I'll get under here. She's ready to run. Check all our lights. Alrighty. And I saved my favorite part for last, the grease gun. Unfortunately, it's a little bit disappointing that this guy only has 4 grease fittings. But we'll hit him. It's got the kingpins and the front spindles. That's it. So we'll shoot a little bit of grease in all of them, and the old deer's going to be ready for ditch mowing. Now we can get this guy fired up. I don't really use it all that much. Let's have a look at the blade. I put a brand new one on it the other year. I'll just feel, oh yeah, blade's still sharp. That's good. We don't need to mess with that. Where do you check the oil on this thing? Oh, it's actually got a dipstick. Let's see. Look at that. Oil's still like honey. Good. Now we also going to make sure it doesn't stink like gas, because that would be a good reason to change it. No, good, perfect. Just clean Mobil 1. Speaking of gas, is there any in it? Yeah, we just need a little bit to fire it up. 3 primes it says. I gave it 4 because the first one nothing happened. Okay, let's see. Hang on. There, that's better. Okay. It fired and then it quit. So we'll try it again. See if she'll go this time. That one's ready for summer. That's going to wrap it up for this one. I'd like to thank you for tuning in. Hope you'll come back and see us again soon, because who knows what we'll be working on then. And until then, this is Kevin saying so long from the Claremont Classic Garage.